Well, I may continue and continue, but I'm sure that you have something else to do this afternoon. If there will be questions, I'll try to answer. Maybe in some cases I will not be able to to answer because there are cases still pending before the court, and we can't reply on. Please, if there are questions, I can try to answer.
Writing a question. I'll see if there's any questions. So here's a question for you. I have observed oral arguments in the Israeli Supreme Court. How do you account for the informality as compared to a U.S. court? Not merely the Supreme Court, but other lower U.S. courts. This observer, he or she, thought there was a very informal atmosphere even in the Israeli Supreme Court.
You know, judges are ordinary human beings. You see, they are like everyone, and if we are sitting on the bench, we should give the opportunity to every citizen to come and he may sometimes ask the judge question. This is the right way in order to give the feeling to every citizen that he may come to the court without fearing that the judge will tell him that go away, we dismissed your petition. It's not the right way. The right way is to listen to that citizen and give him his day in court, we call them, then to decide. And maybe somebody may think that it is informal. If it's informal, it's okay. We don't have this problem. But although it is informal, but there is great respect by the public toward the judiciary. This is very important. That's it's not to say that we are being good friends together, you know. We are giving him the opportunity to be listened, and then we give our decision.
Okay, someone wants to know, how many languages do you need to know to be a judge in Israel? And in order to review legal precedents or legal documents. So I guess that goes to the question of official languages in Israel.
The official languages are Hebrew and Arabic. Most of the people knows Hebrew and Arabic, and of course English. Everyone may apply, including in Arabic language. Then the court should translate the petition to the Hebrew language. We can, for example, for myself, if the parties before me, when I used to be at the district court, when the two parties were Arabs, I used to talk with them in the court in Arabic. And while reading the protocol, you write it in Hebrew, but it's usual to speak in Arabic, and it is official language. And you should know, if you can know more languages, you will be a good judge, I think.
How do you manage so many cases? 10,000 cases. Maybe.
Well, you know, it's a hard job, but usually some of them, we used to sit in a panel of 3 judges, but while, for example, I'm a judge on call, I'm like an emergency room. All petitions are brought to me, then I read the materials, and in some cases when I comes to a conclusion that this petition, there's no chance to be accepted by the court, and in order not to waste time, I have the right to dismiss it on the spot. I write my opinion and deliver it to 2 of my colleagues, and if they agree with me, then we send this ruling by internet to the petitioner, and that's all. Then in other cases, we should transfer it to a panel of 3 judges, and in many cases, we invite, of course, the parties for an oral argument. And then in this time, we may convince them to come to a compromise. And in many cases, about 60 or 70% of the cases they have a happy end, and both parties are coming for a compromise. And we have only to deal with the 30% of the cases. And we sometimes give rulings with about 100 pages, and sometimes 200 pages, sometimes 50 50 pages, sometimes 2 pages. And believe me, it's a difficult job, but we are, you know, I'm talking, I'm smiling, and I don't complain.
Well, here's an easy question. What does the pin on your lapel mean?
This is the Paul Harris pin. You know, Rotary International was established here, founded in Illinois, in Chicago in 1907. How not? By a lawyer. He was a lawyer, and he founded this movement. It's a voluntary movement. It has about 1,350,000 members all over the world, in 38,000 clubs. I used to be privileged, elected to the capacity of district governor of Rotary International in Israel 20 years ago. And I came here to your country to attend the incoming seminar for district governors. It was held in Kansas City. And since that time, I attended many conferences held by Rotary International in Anaheim and Boca Raton. One of the main objective is to help others. The theme is service above self. And one of our international activities is immunizing 5 million infants in the Far East and Africa against polio. 500 million were immunized by Rotary voluntary. It was a great achievement for us, and for this reason, the United Nations decided to give us the opportunity to put the statute of Paul Harris in the United Nations. This is Rotary, and I'm very proud to be a member of Rotary International.
Okay. Here's an easy one for you, Justin. Have you ever considered leaving the court to become a member of parliament, the Knesset?
Well, I say that I'm lucky not to be born as politicians. It's, you know, I'm doing well, and I am satisfied, and I am very glad to be at the Supreme Court, and I'm not thinking about it at all.
Okay. The question is, do you use law clerks like American judges do? And if so, what role do they play in your system?
Of course, there is help. Every Supreme Court judge has 2 law clerks and 2, we call it legal assistant. And they are helping us in preparing the materials, because some cases we have, you know, boxes of files, and they are very helpful for us. And it's, we feel very well with this.
You mentioned the rights of citizens and residents to apply directly to the Supreme Court. Who qualifies as a resident from a legal perspective? What
resident is everyone who lives in the country who is not a citizen. He may be a foreigner or a tourist, you know, everyone can apply to the court.
So even a tourist?
Even tourists.
Who thinks their rights are violated?
Yeah, of course.
Please compare. Would you compare the Israeli courts to the equivalent courts in the surrounding region, the Middle East?
Well, actually, I don't know many things about what's happening in our neighboring countries, but I can say that we are satisfied with our judicial system. It is a good one, with all modesty, of course, you know, and yeah.
No need to be modest.
Yeah.
Here's a question: does your court follow the principle of stare decisis? I assume precedent.
Yes, the rulings of the Supreme Court is binding all the lower courts, unless the court itself. That is, the Supreme Court may change its ruling without any problem.
Someone wants to know what was the outcome of the recent adoption case with the 6-5 verdict, and what was the reasoning for the decision?
The reasoning was that
to expand the panel. Why was the panel expanded? And
why? The reason I couldn't respond, because it is the privilege of the president. Once the president came to this conclusion, then we should be part of the panel. And the reason why we accepted the appeal is that In the last 4 years, there is a very good improvement on the behavior of the mother, and she is not using drugs today. That was the main reason to give her the possibility to take back her child from the adoption family.